on 12 News, a recent fire in Plymouth that could lead to meaningful change. What's now under consideration to prevent future tragedies. Then, lessons that aim to wipe out fear and increase safety. But first, a meeting in Brooklyn Park that sheds light on the long-term impacts of war.
You're coming back from an environment that is so high speed, so to speak. You're going 100 miles an hour. When you return home, the regular world doesn't go that fast.
12 News starts right now. They served our country. Now some veterans need help in healing.
Today, a panel of health experts and veterans got together at the Brooklyn Park Community Center to talk about mental health issues. The idea was to connect them with resources available in the Northwest Metro. A veteran from Osseo shared his story with Sonia Goins.
I've been a member of the Minnesota National Guard since 1988, so 25 years.
Chaplain Buddy Wynn not only counsels veterans.
So did you get the information yesterday?
He knows firsthand what they're going through.
Did a tour in Iraq in 07, 08, 2007, 2008, and then I was again deployed to Kuwait in 2011, 2012.
He relied on his faith when things got tough in the combat zone.
Being in Iraq, we were mortared, we received rocket attacks regularly at the forward operating base that we were at. It was something that you can't prepare yourself for.
Wynn says some veterans have a hard time adjusting to civilian life when they get back home.
There's bad guys over there that want to do us harm. And you know, if you haven't been through that before, it changes you in a remarkable way. And when you get home, things aren't the way they were when you left.
Another effect of war is suicide. The number of veterans committing suicide is growing nationwide and here in Minnesota.
The suicide numbers that we see are indicative of a bigger problem societally. I mean, the numbers that we see in the military and in the veteran communities are alarming.
The trauma of war can sometimes be too much to bear.
When you're deployed and you experience trauma, if you get to the point where you feel like nobody understands what you're going through and there's nobody who can help, and you know, you want to take some manner of control back.
Chaplain Wynn says his Osseo neighbors helped him when things got tough.
They came and shoveled snow. You know, they offered support when the car wasn't working right, and you know, there was a local church outreach that came and you know, helped to build a deck at our house, which was such a blessing to us. So that's always going to stay with me, is the care of my neighbors in our community.
Sonia Goins, 12 News.
And there are a number of resources available to veterans. The Hennepin County Veterans Service has an office in the Brookdale Library. It's open the first and third Tuesday of the month. You can check out our website for more resources.
Police are trying to determine if a pair of wedding crashers who stole from a Brooklyn Park wedding reception did the same thing in Ham Lake. The two thieves were caught on surveillance camera at Edinburgh, USA. Police say they stole a Maple Grove couple's wedding box filled with cards. A man was seen on security video walking through the kitchen with the box. In the Ham Lake incident, there wasn't any surveillance footage, but the thieves did pop up on security video at a store a short time later.
A long saga involving the city of Osseo and its former fire chief is finally over. You may recall the Osseo City Council voted to fire Chief Mark Lind last year in a controversial 3-2 vote. At the time, the city council did not give a reason for the firing, and Lind filed a lawsuit against the city. Now the city and Lind have reached a settlement agreement. Terms of the agreement were not disclosed, though the city council did release a statement as required by the agreement. Monday night, Osseo Mayor Dwayne Poppe read the statement saying the council action to remove Mr. Lind was not based on any issues of performance, professional misconduct, or personal misconduct. Instead, the actions expressed the will of the council to move the fire department in a different direction than the vision expressed by Mr. Lind. Earlier this year, Osseo hired Pat McGrain to serve as the city's fire chief. Well, recent apartment fires in Plymouth have been made worse because buildings did not have a sprinkler system.
Now the city of Plymouth is trying to do something to help building owners improve safety on their properties. 12 News reporter Carissa Wyant shows us how.
Just 2 weeks ago, a 5-alarm fire gutted 6 units in Vicksburg Village apartments in Plymouth. 20 others suffered water damage, but fire officials say this tragedy could have been avoided.
Not a sprinkled building. If it were, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
The executive director of Plymouth's Housing and Redevelopment Authority says the city is considering giving out loans to apartment building owners to install sprinkler systems.
The HRA would work with the owners to come up with, what do they have to do, what types of improvements do they want to make. HRA has some money in reserves. That money then would be provided to the city council, who ultimately would make the loan to to the apartment owners.
Currently, 37 out of 54 apartment buildings in Plymouth do not have a sprinkler system installed. They're required in new construction of large apartment buildings, but were not required before 1989. While the cost of installing a sprinkler system can vary, this apartment complex in Plymouth just installed one for $120,000 in one building that had a fire. The program in Plymouth would give a loan of up to $125,000.
Anything that we can do to help the apartment owners provide a safer environment to the residents is a good thing.
In Plymouth, Carissa Wyatt, 12 News.
The cities of Minnetonka, St. Louis Park, and Crystal currently offer similar loan programs. If approved by the City Council, Plymouth could begin taking loan applications within a month.
Planning to sell your home? You might not have to wait very long. Home sales jumped to their highest level in 3 years. Prices also continued their upswing. In Golden Valley, home prices in June rose 22%. In Robbinsdale, it was a 13% rise. And in New Hope, there was a dramatic jump, prices climbing 34% over last year. The median price for the Twin Cities Metro was $210,000. That's up 18% over last year. Well, did you know a child is 88% less likely to drown or get injured if they've had some sort of water safety or swim class?
It's a powerful statistic and a message that the YMCA is taking directly to diverse communities in the Northwest Metro.
Your arm should be really loose.
It's Floating 101 at the Y. It's not a swim lesson. These kids are learning water safety. The program teaches kids how to tread water, get to the side of the pool, and find help.
Safe is life.
This is really how do you give them the building blocks to be safe and self-rescue.
When it comes to keeping kids safe in the water, minorities face greater risk. The Greater Twin Cities Y estimates 70% of African American kids don't know how to swim. That puts them at a 3 times greater risk of drowning. It's why the Y is taking this water safety program on the road to apartment pools in Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park. They'll try to reach minority communities who might not know how to swim because of limited resources or cultural barriers.
Parents weren't ever educated or taught to swim themselves, so they then don't take their kids to swim because they have a fear.
That's the case for Chandra Singh.
My fear is the water.
But it won't be the case for her 2 daughters who started swimming this summer.
And just because I have my fear doesn't mean that they should be feared of water because I am. Give them the chance.
In this program, kids develop the tools to be safe before fear ever has a chance to show up.
We really hope to break that cycle and educate parents and their kids about safe swimming practices.
The Greater Twin Cities YMCA hopes to reach 3,200 kids with their water safety program over the next year. Coming up, something that doesn't always mix well, exercise and the heat.
Some things to think about when you take your workout outside. And then later in sports, a preview of the sub-state playoffs in American Legion Baseball.
But first, no complaints about your AccuWeather forecast. Mother Nature may have given us a break from the heat and humidity this week, but don't be fooled, summer isn't over quite yet.
And for people spending more time outdoors to get in their workouts, that means taking a few extra precautions when the mercury creeps up. In today's Health Check report, Elaine Cleveland shows us a few tips for exercising in the heat.
I think a lot of people just like to be outside and be active.
In the short Minnesota summers,
I like to be outside way more than I like to be inside.
Staying indoors can be downright blasphemous to some people.
Yeah, it's kind of boring to be inside during the summer.
A visit to Elm Creek Park shows that plenty of others agree with that sentiment, especially when exercise is involved.
It just goes so much faster, exercise does, and it's way more enjoyable.
However, personal trainer Amanda Wittig suggests that people take precautions before they take their workout outdoors, especially in extreme heat. It all begins with hydration.
So before you even put your workout into the equation, you should be getting half your body weight in ounces of water.
Proper workout gear is another important feature. Wittig recommends wearing a hat to protect your face and light clothes that have ventilation.
If you're not able to sweat or whisk away that that sweat, you actually can overheat.
Time of day is also an important factor.
If you're doing a longer bike ride or maybe a longer run, you probably want to avoid the hottest time of the day, which is between 10 and 3.
Something else she recommends is a heart rate monitor to know just how much stress you're putting on your body. Meanwhile, once the workout is all said and done, water again plays an important role.
Roughly about 16 ounces of water per hour of activity.
And she says people should consider electrolyte replacements and protein supplements to ensure a full recovery.
If you neglect taking in some post-workout carbohydrate and protein, you won't be able to fully recover and repair for your workout the next day or your next workout.
If all else fails, she says an indoor workout is just as effective.
Nope, not even when it's too hot.
Just don't tell that to people at Elm Creek Park.
Yeah, I'll be out here again during the winter.
In Maple Grove, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
For a full list of tips from personal trainers on exercising in the heat, you can go to our website, 12.tv. Coming up, an apartment transformation in Brooklyn Center unlike any you've seen before.
But first in sports, we'll catch up with a New Hope couple balancing a busy schedule with training for triathlons. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back.
A baseball playoff time again, this time Legion baseball playoff, and it all starts tomorrow and again later this week for other teams.
It should be a nice week of weather for games, and this is a fun time for these guys to see if they can extend their season into next month. The postseason for American Legion baseball gets underway around the state Wednesday. Out are the 10 district tournaments that were used in the past. In are 15 sub-state tournaments. They'll each qualify one team to next week's state tourney. Here's where the local teams will play. Sub-State 4 includes Wayzata and Hopkins. Wayzata meets St. Louis Park in its opener Wednesday morning at 10. Hopkins takes on Minneapolis South Wednesday at 4 p.m. All of the tournament games there are at Veterans Field at Minnetonka High School. In Sub-State number 9 at Wintercrest Park in Coon Rapids, Armstrong plays Champlin on Field 2 in the quarterfinals. Blaine takes on Park Center, which is Brooklyn Park, post 6:30. That game is on Field 1, and at 5 o'clock Wednesday afternoon on Field 2 at Wintercrest, Chester Bird of Golden Valley plays Andover. Osseo High School is the main site for a Sub-State 11 tournament. That tourney starts Thursday morning with Osseo playing Mound Rogers at 10 o'clock. Maple Grove faces Elk River at 1 p.m. Delano is the site for the other 2 Thursday games, with all the rest of this double elimination tournament taking place at Osseo. Training for triathlons takes some time, and for those with families, it can be tough to fit into a busy schedule. On this week's edition of his Give It a Try series, Jay Wilcox checks in with a husband and wife team that's making time to train.
This week on Give It a Try, we meet a New Hope couple who really started from scratch and have now turned triathlons into a family affair. For Charis and Matt Linebaugh, giving it a try really started with their kids.
Well, my kids had taken swim lessons for years, and I heard about a kids triathlon, and I thought I'm going to sign them up for it, and I kind of lived vicariously through them for 2 years, and then thought it'd be cool, but I couldn't swim, and so I didn't try it myself, and then a friend of mine called and said, if I do a triathlon next summer, will you do it with me? And I was like, yes, I'm in.
The Linebaughs readily admit they aren't elite-level competitors, but that's the beauty of triathlons. They can test themselves and mark their improvements.
I'm under no delusion that I'm going to win my age group or anything. So it really is about what I'm able to do and competing against myself, and each one's different in terms of where you are physically, mentally.
The very first one I did, someone said, you know, what are your time goals? And I laughed at him and I said, I just don't want to drown. I haven't thought past that. And then it didn't take very long that I had some definite time goals.
The Linebaughs sometimes compete as a family. The kids are competitive swimmers, and tries are a good bonding time.
But now all our kids are involved in it, and my husband is also, and it's been just a lot of fun to be able to kind of pull everybody in together and do a lot of the aspects together instead of always heading off. The first couple years I headed off by myself a lot to do the training, and now I can go with one of the kids riding along beside me or something.
Here's how Charis and Matt rate themselves in each event.
I'm probably strongest in the bike. Put me, I don't know, for my own, where I'm at in training now, I'd say I'm maybe at about a 3 or so. The swim, I I've improved a lot because I spent a lot of time swimming. I'd say maybe I'd put my skill at about a 4 for where I'm at, and then I'm lowest on the run for sure. It's not my strongest, has never been, and so I'd probably be about a 2 there.
Probably a 3 swimming. I'm comfortable swimming, but I'm not real good at it. Biking, I'm 2. I had never cycled before we started this, and so that's been a complete learning process. And running, I'd say it's a 3 transitioning to a 4. Last year I spent a lot of time working on running form.
For Give It a Try, Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
Cheris is bouncing back from a broken bone in her leg, limiting her competitions this year after she does a swim-only race in Lake Superior. The Linebaugh will compete in their Burrito Union Triathlon Relay in Superior, Wisconsin in early September. To get the kids involved, it's a whole family affair.
Family affair, impressive.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Thanks, John. Still ahead, a freaky fast apartment makeover.
A renovation that appears to be in record time when we come back. Well, they call themselves the world's fastest renovation team, and in Brooklyn Center today, they set out to prove it.
Bed coming through, bed coming through, bed coming through, watch out.
From new windows and granite countertops to new flooring, bathroom fixtures, and paint, it all got an update at a Brooklyn Center apartment. 30 people were literally crawling over each other as they worked against the clock to set a world record.
A lot of these projects in and of themselves take several weeks long, but hour and 45 minutes from completely trashed out, graffiti filled, smelly, into absolutely a gorgeous apartment.
You know, here's what it looked like before. They certainly had their work cut out for them. Soderbergh's company bought the former Twin Lakes Manor apartments in Brooklyn Center in April, and they're nearly finished with a complete renovation. And for a single apartment, they think that they might just hold a world record. So proof that it can be done.
Pretty amazing, like an hour and 47 minutes, I think, for the whole apartment, granite countertops, the whole deal.
You think of all these people that had home renovations that just keep getting extended and extended, right?
Yeah, you know, if you're a homeowner, you put in a door, it takes all day, and
Right.
these guys do it in like 5 minutes.
Make
Unreal.
quick work of it. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Stay with us. Community Corner is coming up next. See you back here again tomorrow.